Okay, so in our previous video, I went through some simple and easy neck, shoulder, forearms, and hand stretching and exercise techniques with you. In this video, I want to just go through some lower body exercises. So for foot, ankle, knee, hip, and low back and mid back. So the first thing that many of you can try, if you haven't already, would just be doing a little bit of trigger point release to the bottom of your foot. I'm using a lacrosse ball here, but you can use a tennis ball, a golf ball, lacrosse ball, baseball if you really want. That's a little bit rigid for my liking, but rolling from the ball of the foot and toes back towards the heel, both on the first toe side and the fifth toe side of the foot. I can add a little bit more pressure downward if I want to intensify the effect. And I usually do between 2 to 5 minutes on each foot. Switch it over to the other side, give that side some love for a few minutes, and then you can move on. The next thing would just be to try some sitting heel raising and some sitting forefoot raising. So I'm just transitioning back and forth, working through as much range of motion as I can, engaging the muscles on the front of the shin and the back of the shin. If you have a tilt board or a wobble board at home, you can try this just in your normal sitting work setup. And this may be good for those of you that are sitting in a chair that is too low, where you can just put your feet up. Your seat's too high, bringing those knee and hip angles back to the right position. Same idea, rocking forward and then rocking backward. Both the wobble board and the flat surface ankle movements can be helpful for those of you that have swelling in your foot, ankle, lower leg, where you're activating some of the muscles in the lower leg to help sort of pump the fluid up and out of the lower leg. And I typically encourage you to do between 10 and 20 repetitions each way, and then move on to something else. So the next thing I'm going to show you is just a little bit of trunk rotation to help relieve some of the pressure in your mid and low back. So for me, I'm sitting in a chair with no armrest, which works well for this. You can do this in a chair that has armrests, it's totally fine. You just might have to be mindful of your elbows. So I'm going to place both arms out in front of me. I'm going to rotate as far as I can to the left, and then come back to the middle, and then as far as I can to the right. So now it's important as I do this to let my head rotate with the rest of my spine. Your cervical spine is joined with your thoracic spine and your lumbar spine, so you want it all to move as one unit. And then make sure you inhale as you open up, and then exhale as you come back to the center. 10 repetitions or so each direction is good for this one. And then the next thing you can try for your spine, really to help with the muscles on the side, the obliques and the quadratus lumborum, and some of the support muscle in through the rib cage, is just a sitting lateral flexion. So I'm just holding on with one hand here because I don't have an armrest. I'm holding on to the side of the chair just to help me with my balance. But I want to try to stay up nice and long, like I have a string pulling me up towards the ceiling, and then reach my arm up and overhead and try to tip straight down to the side. And then the other way. Good. So again, 10 or so each direction is good for this one. You should really feel a nice stretch in through the side body here. The next thing that you can try for those of you that sit a lot, and more so in your home routine in uncomfortable chairs, is a stretch for the front of the hips. So I'm going to use my chair here just for a little bit of support. I'm going to kneel down on the floor, and it's fine if you place a folded up towel, folded up blanket underneath your knee on the downside so that it's more comfortable. For those of you that maybe have knee pain, hip pain, ankle pain that prevents you from being in this position, you can do this same stretch in a standing position, sort of like your standing runner's calf stretch. But if you're going to do it kneeling, you just want to stay up nice and long through your torso again, string pulling you up towards the ceiling. I'm going to lunge forward, still trying to stay up nice and long, and then I'm going to squeeze my buttock muscle so I feel a nice stretch in through the front of my hip and the front of my thigh. If you don't really feel much of a stretch and you've tried those things, just keep an eye on your spine position and make sure that you're vertical through your spine. And/or I can add in a little bit of a quad stretch position to really intensify the stretch. This one is good to hold about 30 seconds or so, and then repeat on the opposite side, but this will really help you open up the front of the hips from a lot of that sitting posture where this stuff feels a little bit tight.